Hi everybody!
I fucking hate you. Hi guys, welcome back to Theory Thursdays. We are back with episode 14? I think it's 14. I think we're on episode 14.
Yes.
We had Link last week, episode 13, with his Minecraft Hero Brian thing.
Hey, it's not Hero Brian.
What about Heroin?
Also,
Hero
Minecraft's
Dave?
a flat Earth, just saying.
Minecraft can be a flat earth, yeah. It's got hills and stuff. It's not completely. It's not super flat world, if you will.
You can get a super flat world.
You can. We are.
Dave knows.
Dave knows. We are doing Phil, and he's very happy about it.
Are we?
Yeah.
Again?
I wonder if Phil's going to say we. Right, I'm going to see if he's.
Some would say Phil is doing us this week, actually. But Phil, what have you got for us?
It's not a particularly in-depth one, to be fair, but it was one that.
All right, guys, catch to the next
found
one.
it interesting. So there we go. Later.
Are we sitting comfortably?
I'm not going to say that this week.
Ah.
What? Do you like it when I say that, Pete? Or does it comfort you?
Raises his keyboard.
So, whether it's added to your Jack Daniels, your vodka, or basically anything alcoholic, whether it's straight from a can or a bottle, if you've cooked with it, if you've drank diet, sugar-free, caffeine, cherry, or vanilla, we've all drank Coca-Cola.
Pepsi's better. Sponsor us, Pepsi.
Interesting, you should say that, and we'll get onto Pepsi later on. But we've all had Coke at some point, the drink.
Oh. Never.
No, don't try that.
No. I don't drink fizzy drinks.
Would you say it's probably one of them, if not the most famous fizzy drink?
Oh, Coke is? Yeah, Coke.
Yeah.
Coke is.
No. Not if you're from Scotland, it's Iron Brew.
It's still Coke.
I didn't think even
I was going to say
the Scottish and their Iron Brew couldn't top Coca-Cola, to be fair.
And I'd
Because
imagine
it's Scotland.
I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if Coke is still higher in sales than Iron
definitely.
Brew.
Yeah.
No, Iron Brew in Scotland is much higher than to Coke, trust me.
Googling. Carry on, Phil. I'm
yeah.
Googling.
No, go on.
No, you carry on. It's going to take me a while.
I want to know before we go any further.
He's scrapping it. He's ripping it up.
Sales
That way.
in Scotland compared versus it's Coca-Cola. Cunt's right.
Shock.
You're very rarely right, dickhead, when it comes to this shit.
I'm always fucking right. Fuck you.
Did you get 100% last
The
time?
weird thing is, it's Pepsi.
Pepsi's higher.
Pepsi's higher. No, I'm kidding.
Iron Brew.
I haven't read that far if it is Iron Brew, but yeah, it's not. It
is Iron Brew.
Fair enough. Cool. So just a bit of history on Coca-Cola then. So it was originally invented as a medicine in 1888 by John Pemberton, and Coca-Cola takes its name from two original ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. And then if you fast forward to today, Coca-Cola sales of all Coke products hit 1.5 billion in the UK alone. Just for some comparison, second on the list, any ideas?
After Coke,
Tampax.
Pepsi.
yeah, Pepsi.
That
That's what-
grossed 696 million. And then in third place, the next beverage was, any ideas?
Schweppes.
No, it wouldn't be Schweppes. It'd be something in Spanish.
Orangina.
Nope, Red Bull.
Oh,
Yeah, Red Bull. Yeah.
okay.
469 million. With the
How is
Coca-Cola
Red
company,
Bull
it's... Sorry, mate, what?
How is Red Bull so high? I genuinely didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's massive.
I thought you'd get Monster or something up there higher nowadays.
That's not a worldwide brand though.
Really, you said in the UK.
Yeah, they have Red Bull as well.
Oh, only in the UK, did you say?
They were
What?
UK figures.
Oh,
yeah.
fucking hell. Oh, okay. All right.
My Tesco's on the way to work. I've never got the small cans in the morning, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Look at them being healthy.
Sorry.
The company... No, it's all right. The company itself was grossing $38.9 billion worldwide. So impressive numbers. but that wasn't always the case. So the recipe itself for Coca-Cola has had many tweaks over the years, from its use of fresh coca leaves to used coca leaves to no coca leaves at all. And although the exact recipe back then, or even the Coke that we drink today, is still a closely guarded secret, it was a change in the recipe in 1985 that caused the most controversy. So just going back to the figures, just to add this as well, just to give it a little bit more perspective on just how big Coca-Cola is. On the 12th of July 1944, the company had already manufactured its 1 billionth gallon of Coca-Cola syrup.
Gallon.
A billion
No,
gallons.
not 1 gallon,
yeah.
Pete. 1
no,
billion
no,
gallons.
No, but I was
Billion.
expecting you to say cans or
No.
One
Just the
billion
syrup
gallons.
itself that goes into it, 1 billion gallons of that. That's crazy. I don't. If you're any good at maths, what's that from 1888?
A lot.
Not that long, is it really?
The 1940.
1944. So yeah, 1944, 1888.
Yeah,
56
Around
years.
about 50.
it's about 60 years.
56 years, is it?
Yeah.
Getting on 4. Yeah.
88 to 40 odd is 60 odd years, about 60 years. That's a lot in 60 years.
Yeah, 1 billion gallons.
Yeah. And then, so by the end of the Second World War, Coca-Cola held 60% of the market share of cola-flavored drinks, making it the go-to drink for cola connoisseurs. But by 1983, that percentage had dropped considerably to 24%, and that was in thanks largely to the emergence of Pepsi. Shows your cans. Might get a sponsor.
Sponsor us. I've got Cherry, Pete has Max, but we both have Max. That's the thing.
They bought them
So
from
it was
Aldi.
only-
Sponsors Aldi.
Yes, I will say I did, because I want the Audi deal.
So it was only
I
really...
bought mine from Harrods.
Did you?
Because he wants the Harrods deal, because he's an idiot.
Okie doke. Where was I? Right, so yeah, it was only really the introduction of Diet Coke and the vending machine sale that kept Coke above Pepsi. But in the the supermarkets and convenience stores all over the place, Pepsi was outselling Coke by a considerable way. So it was that was the catalyst for Project Kansas, which was a secret project headed by marketing vice president Sergio Zyman and Coca-Cola USA president Brian Dyson to create a new flavor of Coke. So on the 23rd of April 1985, New Coke was introduced, and in the same week, the original formula ceased production. Apparently, New Coke had a much sweeter taste than the original one. Have any of you heard of New Coke or Coke 2? No, apparently it was still in production up until 2002, so...
Must be an
It's
American
odd
thing.
Say again?
Must be an American thing.
Yeah, I've never seen it over here, but apparently it was distributed to the UK, so strange. After initial early success, the New Coke didn't go down very well with consumers, despite many suggesting they preferred it over the original and Pepsi. There was huge backlash to follow. While sales did well in America, internationally there wasn't much love for it, with some countries even refusing to sell New Coke, while some company execs were lobbying for the old recipe to be reintroduced. So 79 days after New Coke's launch, the old recipe was reintroduced as Coca-Cola Classic, and by the end of 1985 it was outselling Pepsi by 2-1, leaving the company bigwigs looking at what had gone wrong. Had they simply underestimated the world's love of the famous original recipe? Well, that kind of depends on who you ask. So, was the introduction of New Coke a huge mistake, or was it an ingenious idea to intentionally change the recipe in the hope consumers would be upset and demand for the return of the old formula, which in turn would cause sales to soar? Or maybe even that New Coke provided a cover for the final removal of all coca derivatives from the product to placate the DEA, who were trying to eradicate the coca leaf worldwide because of the mega increase in cocaine trafficking and consumption.
Makes sense.
Thoughts?
So, Wasn't cocaine introduced to America in the first place by the government anyway?
I believe. I don't know if it's a confirmed fact. I don't know if that's a fact or if that is also another theory.
Well, it was
Possibly another theory.
It was
Okay.
a medicinal thing, wasn't
I
it?
thought
So-
no, I thought it was a CIA thing.
Yeah, I think I got a feeling it's
It
another
may be a theory,
theory.
but I thought that may have been confirmed. Okay.
I haven't got a clue.
I'll Google it.
We're all going to end up on a list anyway at some point with some of these theories, I'm sure of it. So we might as well get on those watch lists now.
I'm
aren't we?
mostly going to end up next week, next time on mine.
Carry on anyway. I'm
Do you know what? To bring in a new one, just to get the old one screamed for again, is a really, really, really clever sales pitch. And I bet they've got some of the best salespeople working for them in the world.
So
How long was it off the shelves?
70 odd days, wasn't it? The old one was made?
79. So 79 days between
So
the
just
new
under
one
3
coming
months.
out and the old one stopping to the old one coming out, but they still produced new Coke, as it's called.
But you've
But then
got two
started to
different.
reintroduce a new
So
one.
then they had two brands
You've
rather
got
than
two
just one.
brands, yeah.
Yeah. But then also at the time they had Diet Coke and I think they had Cherry Coke as well. Had just come out.
So for 3 months, the original Coke wasn't made.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 months.
Yeah.
And then you had people screaming for it again, but the sales had dropped already. But then
What,
sales went.
what was the
crazy
date on
for it.
this? 1980,
85.
85.
So I think Pepsi came out in
Looking
80,
30,
83.
36 years ago.
Yeah. The company themselves actually said that I can't find the quote, and I'm not putting my glasses on because I can't be bothered. But they said something along the lines of, "We're not that clever," basically.
I tell you
that's
now,
bollocks.
they
And
would
as
have
soon
some of
as
the
someone
best
says that,
players, yeah.
as soon as someone says that's bollocks, it's like no.
they've
shut up.
got some of the best salespeople, and that's a great sales pitch.
I-
If something's
well-
not doing well, you remove it. If it did well, you remove it, so people end up wanting it again. It happened with
There's
Red
two
Bull.
theories. There's two theories to it, though, isn't there?
Well,
So there's one that they removed so as a sales pitch to try and get people to want it back, so that they could then bring it back and sell it.
Knowing damn well that they'd
But then the flip side of that is that they took it off the shelves because they wanted to finally remove Coke from it, essentially.
Yeah, make any changes.
I think the second one's more believable, and I genuinely think that's the second one is more believable, and that they did the new Coke as a cover up for it to stop people from just flat out rebelling, and so that Coke still had a product on the market at the time, so they didn't go bankrupt from sitting there doing nothing for 3 months.
That also makes sense. Yeah, a lot of sense. Because if they just turn around and go, "This is the new Coke, we're changing it because of this reason," and people have been like, "Well, yeah."
Well, that's it.
it's
And
totally
like,
different.
well, it's not even that. Like, look at what happened with Iron Brew. And I know I've gone back to Iron Brew again, and you'd think I'm Scottish because of the amount I've mentioned it. But
freedom.
Iron Brew removed all the sugar, didn't they?
Yeah.
And people went absolutely mental, like, because they literally just released this new. It wasn't even new. They just did a new recipe.
But
So it
the
was still
difference-
just Iron Brew, but it was like recipe change,
The thing is, I suppose,
and people went
Yeah.
mental because they hated it, like compared to the old one.
Iron Brew re-released for a while, very expensive, but they re-released the original recipe.
I'll be
didn't
honest. My mate,
Yeah.
our mate, bought
Yeah.
bought me a couple of bottles down with him. Well,
I
he
wonder-
he got some shipped down to me. I just, not to be funny,
I'm not a big fan.
I didn't see a massive difference.
No.
I was
But
like,
when they've
okay,
when they re-released Coca-Cola, that was still changed, a modified version of the original, wasn't it? They didn't re-release the original one because they still would have taken
I
out.
guess without knowing
Yeah.
what the two recipes are.
Yeah.
we-
I wonder
we're
if
not
there would have
gonna
been a
know just
difference.
exactly how different they were.
The
Well, they're
original
probably-
to the new original, like
Well,
the
this
other
is-
original,
This is it, isn't it? So the classic one that's coming out
would have still been changed from the
would have
very
still been
original.
changed from the actual classic one, but you wouldn't know because it's been off the market for 3 months. So the taste, it won't be exactly the same, but you wouldn't know because you won't have that comparison in your mind over that amount of time.
Yeah.
You know,
you couldn't go
'Cause they
like
would-
that. Well, you
Yeah,
probably-
they
you
still would
probably
have had
done.
3 months to remove the coca leaves and the taste and modify it to get as close as possible.
Yeah.
And then bring it out going, okay, we bring it back out. It's exactly the same. This is the classic version you used to have. That's possible, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, companies do look at bringing out new products all the
Yeah.
time, as you know, and some fail. And I can give you the list of a couple that one from Pepsi. Does anybody remember Crystal Pepsi?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That bombed. And then Coca-Cola, there was another one. And the bottled water, Dasani.
Yep.
Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah,
That
yeah.
bombed. So I guess it's not impossible that companies will bring out something new and they just don't get it and it just doesn't work. But the more I sort of like looked at the sort of like the two conspiracies off the back of what I was reading, I kind of like agree with Link. I do think that it's very addictive, isn't it? There's a lot of people that are very addicted to drinking Coke, so you wonder whether there is still that
Well, I know
essence
someone.
of cocaine in it which drives that.
I know someone
That's
I
where
speak
I'm
to
at with it, to be
quite
fair.
a lot, and someone I work with, and she says, whenever we get rarely get a can of Coke. Normally we go down to Caf, they sell cans of Coke. So we'll get a couple of cans back, and she could walk into our warehouse and she'll be like, walk past and be like, we were like, what are you doing? She was like, just I can smell the actual Coca-Cola. She said she used to drink so much Coca-Cola, as she opened the can, the smell of it would be like that it would go mad with her senses. Just the smell of Coca-Cola.
Is she a
She had to
blood
stop drinking it. No, but she said it's got such. She used to drink it that much. She stopped it, but she said the distinctive smell of Coca-Cola still makes her just a mouth water at the taste of Coca-Cola because she hasn't drunk it for so long. But
But then
she
I'd
got
argue the
really
fact-
bad with it.
If it was that bad, though, that people wouldn't even bother with other drinks.
Well, I mean, if you look at the figures, they don't, do they? It outsells
but
everything else.
you wouldn't even be able to have the likes of Pepsi, Red Bull, and even any other. To be fair, you wouldn't be able to have any bugger all type of drink competing with it if it was that addictive.
Mind you saying that, I don't know if it's just a drink in general. I was exactly the same with Red Bull. For a long time, I was buying it by the case. And I would drink can after can after can like it was water and then go back because I used to drink so many of them. And I don't know if it's just, some people get like that with certain drinks. You take a taste for it and it's all you drink, basically.
I mean, we're also talking about America in the 80s, and we all know what
Yes,
the cocaine trade was like back then. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was cheaper to buy that in than the replacement additives to get that sort of like sensation from what the cocaine used to do back in the day. I'm sure it must have been a lot cheaper to buy that in bulk back in the 80s.
Yeah.
So maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
So
There's definitely more to that. Have you ever gone to takeaways and places? You've had a can and gone, do you know what, that tastes really, really different?
Coke is definitely the one that tastes very different from when you get it.
You can
from
go to, and
a
you
different
can
take.
taste very different. Pepsi's, I don't do it with Red Bull, anything like that.
Dr.
But cans
Pepper's-
of Coke, yeah.
Dr. Pepper
Coke,
is
you
usually
go-
a safe option from a like a kebab
And you're
house.
like, do you know what, that tastes very, very different. Normally it's ones that are brought from abroad and bits and pieces. But it's the same drink, and it was such a different taste.
I'm fairly sure that isn't that due to the different sweetener that they use in it in the UK compared to Europe, for example, Turkey, Greece. Wherever.
Yeah, no, it might be. It was just, I didn't know, because it was that slight change in recipe, where I thought everyone would have been the same recipe throughout.
So are you saying? Well, no, because the thing is with the Coca is that we have different banned sweeteners compared to America. So
Yeah, maybe that's it, yeah.
and Europe, even because obviously not we still have the same banned sweeteners as what the EU does. But obviously, some of these countries aren't in the EU.
That's true, yeah. That would make sense. Because I was just thinking of changing the recipe, but yeah, that would explain that change in taste and recipe at the minute.
I've just read something. I don't know if it's done it now. So like you said, it changed its recipe in 85, but where is it? The Independent has reported, would you fuck off with adverts?
That's a
not smart
strange
thing to
report.
report.
21st of July last year, Coca-Cola has announced that it'll be altering the taste of Coke Zero. formerly Coke Zero Sugar, formerly Coke Zero, created an even more
To add
delicious
more Coke.
and refreshing recipe.
That makes you want it more and more and more.
It happens regularly, to be fair. It's not an uncommon thing for them to change recipes on something. You know, you think about 90% of your favourite snacks and things from when you were a child. None of them will taste exactly the same as they did then.
But how much do we moan about it?
So,
oh yeah, all the time.
Right, go on then. Well, I ballsed it up a little bit. So if we go back to it, we're saying if it was still Coca-Cola was still using cocaine despite it being banned up until 85.
Yeah.
Because I think
We're not saying that it was the Coke being removed that boosted the sales. We're saying that it was the fact that it was off the market for a little while that boosted the sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thoughts, like I'm actually on board with it. To be fair, Phil, is that they took it off the market for those 3 months to get those last bits of Coke taken out of the drink.
Yeah.
So that there was no more confusion with the government as such.
That makes complete sense. And then when they re-advertised it back, classic Coke, people have rushed out and gone, "Yay, Coca-Cola's back!"
Which is what boosted the sales because people were excited to have it back.
Yeah, makes sense.
So if they did it purely as a marketing ploy, no, I don't think so. If they did it to remove something, yeah, that's very possible. If it was genuinely just an accident and they were planning on just getting rid of it and they realised that they'd made a mistake, then they are the luckiest idiots on the planet.
If it was a marketing ploy, you'd keep it off for a month, but you wouldn't stop production. You'll just have a load of production ready when you are going to re-release it because you know it's going to go crazy.
3 months is a long time. I think.
That's what I was
3
just
months
thinking.
is a long time.
You would keep it off for a month at the most, but you'll still be producing it to hit a massive amount.
Right, I mean, it was 3 months globally as well. It wasn't just one market.
Well, you think how much they sell a month?
So I'm sort of stuck now because it's like, I don't know. I don't know because it's like, for a start, the company wouldn't just stop sales, like selling it, and just want to change it up.
Well, they did.
No, sorry.
If it was a ploy,
like if that was like that was the actual thing that they were going to just stop, and they were going to have this new Coke too, and that'd be that. I don't know if they'd have done that. That's just crazy to muck about with sales, isn't it?
it's like the hand was forced in a way.
As recent, I say recent, as recent as 85. Do I still see it in there? In a worldwide drink, the fact it would still, the traces of it would surely be picked up as it comes across borders now.
Well, I'm sure that there's
That's the other thing. Like, surely
there's
traces would have been picked up.
There's one building. I read it when I was researching it, and I knew I should have made a note of it. And you might find it if you have a look yourself. But there's one place in America that the DEA allows importation of the coca leaf. I think it's the coca leaf to this particular place for the production of it. If I remembered it right. So I do still think at the time it was still being used. Whether it still is now, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I doubt it is now. That's what I was getting at earlier, but I obviously said it the wrong way. But again, I still would be surprised it wouldn't have. I suppose the scanners they couldn't have scanned things as well back then, so maybe.
Maybe. I think you're looking at it slightly wrong.
I've just looked at a Coca-Cola.
God, sorry.
A Coca-Cola spokesman told the New York Times in 1996, ingredients in the coca leaf are used, but there is no cocaine in it. All are tightly overseen by regular authorities. But they've said the beverage company has a deal with the Drug Enforcement Administration to get coca leaves, so the world can still get Coca-Cola fix. The DEA lets Coca-Cola import leaves from Peru and Bolivia in order to get a part of its secret ingredient, which hides behind the term natural flavors on the ingredients.
I'm
And that
sorry.
was in 1996, so they're still using coca leaves today.
Okay.
It's part of the natural flavors ingredient on the actual list, and that was a Coca-Cola spokesman that gave that to the New York Times.
Yeah.
I
was going to say
I think.
What you were going for then is almost that they were trying to smuggle this stuff in to use to produce Coke, and it's like, nah, it's
They've got
way
an
too
agreement.
mass scale to be able to do that. Like, you got to think as well, Coke's such a big company.
No.
Even then, was such a big company and making so much money. The government are making so much money on taxes and things like that in every country, actually, from them. Especially this one now because of the sugar taxes, but that's a different story. That's the backhanders would have been real just to allow them to get this stuff in. Like, let's be honest, and the government are going to go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're allowed to bring leaves in, but apparently it's overseen very strictly of what they can use.
So then, if you just
Still
keep
fucking
it
dodgy,
basic, then
Yeah.
was it just a massive fuck up? Then, whatever way you want to look at it, no, I don't think it was. I think there was a reason for it.
I think their hands would have been forced. That's why all of a sudden it's, why would you stop your biggest seller?
Exactly,
Even
that's
if
what I'm
sales
saying.
dropped a bit.
There's no way. There's no way.
I think their hands
company
must
that
have been
big-
forced to pull it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Their hands must have been...
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
did have cocaine in it.
And they've had to stop it because they've obviously been found out.
Yeah, but the cocaine part was said to have got rid of a lot sooner, wasn't it? So say, because obviously it made legal in 22. Like the actual extracting of the cocaine itself was made legal in 22. Funnily enough, 100 years ago.
Yeah, it just seems like, why would you pull your biggest seller unless you kind of had to? Like you said, 3 months is a long time to pull your biggest seller for a multi-million-pound company.
Yeah, and you wouldn't pull it first. You would try and increase your sales another way.
Yeah, you would
unless have to
try
pull it.
advertising.
But yeah,
It's-
no,
Yeah.
okay.
I think there's something to it, Phil.
There is
Yeah,
some, there's something
genuinely
there. There is
Yeah,
There is
definitely
definitely
something
there.
Cool.
I just don't know whether I believe if it was drug enforcement agency that were
Yeah, so just-
enforcing it to be pulled.
Do me a favour, Phil.
Yeah.
Reiterate what your theory is.
So, was the introduction of New Coke in 1985 just Coca-Cola trying something new,
The introduction of new Coke.
which didn't work, which is why they reverted back to type?
Right. Or was there something more to it?
Was there something more to it?
I mean,
I'm
I think
going
there
to
was
say
something,
there's
I think
something
there
more
was
to it.
something more to it. If
Definitely more to it.
If your theory is not that it was DEA involved, then yeah,
Yeah. I think there was more
personally
to
say
it.
there is something more to
No,
it.
it's for theories. It's quite open ended, really, because there's a few. There's another one that I haven't mentioned that I've come across, but it was more to do with the additives and stuff that's in it.
Mhm.
So they had to pull it to replace the additives.
Well, that's still
Or-
something more to it rather than just them trying
Yeah.
trying that drink. So I mean that
Yeah.
covers everything. So yeah, I mean that's the way I'd go that way.
Yeah, there's definitely more.
Is that the way you'd go, Phil, or are you going
yeah,
for
it
the
is.
approach?
Yeah,
of the new?
1,000,000%. Yeah.
Sorry for the confusion. I got a bit confuddled. But hey, cocaine, enjoy.
Yay! Okay.
Cocaine, sponsor us. But yeah, leave your comments in the description. Probably leave them in the comments, dickheads. Do that. Don't leave them in the description. Go and check out Phil in the description, and we will catch you. What the fuck in the next one? Cocaine.
Cocaine, keep you up all night.
What the fuck am I dealing with? Peace.
Good outro.
Players.
Pete said literally the other week that we had I don't know. We had a bad one the other week. What was that?
Yeah, what was that?